Hey, welcome back everybody to Investigation Truths, where today, unfortunately, Connor is sick, so I'm flying it solo at the moment. Anyways, we're gonna be going on to our next segment. We're gonna be talking about some eels, so if you don't like slime, don't listen in on this segment, I'll tell you that much. And after that, there may be an ad afterwards, so I'll see you there. Hey everyone, today here on the Bollinger Corner, we'll be talking about eels and their mysteries. But before we get into all these big ol' fun mysteries, let's give you a bit of a general description of these guys. So, starting off with how they generally look, I mean, this is a pretty good method you can figure out if you're looking at an eel. Are they a tube? If the answer is yes, you're likely looking at an eel. If you're not, it's probably like a South American knifefish. However, as much as I'd like that to be the only thing I gotta do, that's only half of the job. Anyways, moving on from that, let's talk about how big some of these fellas are. Now, some of these guys, they're like the size of my hand at the most. And then there's some that are big as Shaquale O'Nale, over 7 feet tall. Forgive me, Shaquille O'Neal. Anyways, moving on, well, some weigh about as much as an anchovy at the most. Some of them weigh as much as me, for crikey's sake. I mean, seriously, they weigh like 159 pounds. These guys are not small. But moving on, what your average middle schooler could tell you while reading the Guinness Book of World Records while waiting for his mom's divorce to go down, we'll be moving on to the actual fun parts of their biology. Anyways, we'll start with their jaws. So you know how some sharks' jaws can just like fling out of their mouth when biting prey? Eels got that too, and debatably cooler at that. If you ain't in the loop on this cool little fact, so moray eels, you know, the guys that go the samore when you sing, they got a second out. They got not a second out, they got a second jaw that flings out when they bite. Something that's actually pretty interesting about these jaws is that they're not there to do any real damage, unlike most jaws. It's sort of like how the praying mantis's claws work. They just sort of hold their prey in place. But anyways, we gotta move on to an actual mystery of this episode of Investigation Truths. Forget what Media can tell you, we got an actual mystery here. It's how they breed. Like, genuinely. These guys don't have any visible reproductive organs when you cut them open. We got no idea how they breed. We assume it's by an egg, but we got nothing that tells us. And seriously, the only place we've known them to breed is in the Sargasso Sea, which is like the Bermuda Triangle with the Gulf of Mexico region. Forgive me, Gulf of America. Sheesh. Like seriously, even freshwater eels go to the Sargasso Sea. Freshwater eels. Yeah, but to be fair, salmon go inland to breed, so I guess it's not too weird. But still, I mean, we can't even figure out what genes cause it. We've tried legitimately everything, both in and out of the book. And while I'd love to show you the full list of that stuff, I got no time for that here. I'm on a time limit, I'm sorry. As much as I want to tell, I unfortunately got none. Anyways, at the moment, that's all the time I got. That's lovely. Well, see y'all later on the next episode of the Bollinger Corner. No, wait. Forgive me. This is the last live show. No, is this the last? I don't know what's going on. You'll find out in the future. If this is the last episode of the Bollinger Corner, hope you all have a fun time. Chris, signed out.
Are you serious right now?
This is Towing the Rubber. I'm Devin Alsman.
I'm Johnny Klumpy.
During the season, we recap the games and Cubs news every episode, and then we'll add in a couple different segments.
And during the off season, we plan on recapping news and doing trivia games.
Johnny and I will give our opinions on sports, and we'll hopefully have some laughs along the way. You can find our show on the PC3 Media Network radio or PC3 Media YouTube channel.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Sorry about that break. In the break I discovered is, turns out some eels, they do have their sex organs when you dissect them. It's just, they're shriveled up. Who would have thunk? Anyways, we're gonna keep on going with the ocean mysteries with Media Wipe.
If you're ever feeling like there aren't enough mysteries left in the world, look no further than the Earth's oceans. Their blue depths still conceal many secrets, with 80% of the world's oceans remaining unexplored. How many? Tonight we'll find out. Welcome to my bathysphere, ladies and gentlemen. I am your guide, the Captain, and tonight I'll be taking you on a tour through some of my favorite ocean mysteries. Now we needn't dilly-dally for much longer. Our first stop is right here. Vice Captain Kaz, would you mind telling our lovely audience what they're looking at?
Milky Sea Phenomenon.
Milky Sea phenomenon is a strange and rather widespread occurrence of parts of the ocean surface seeming to glow at night. These aren't just small areas of the ocean, however, as these patches of MSP can be found hundreds of miles in diameter. Now, while this glow looks extraterrestrial, even supernatural, the main theory of its existence is far more grounded in reality. The theory posits that clusters of microscopic bioluminescent bacteria known as Vibrio Harvey are the culprit, due to the bacteria having the same bioluminescent glow as the phenomenon. It is unknown, however, why large amounts of this bacteria seem to congregate together. Fret not, however, as it seems that this answer is on the tip of researchers' tongues. Now why don't we move to an exhibit more obscure? Vice Captain Kaz, full steam ahead!
4chan Sea Carpet.
It's time for our first kooky monster. The first mention of the sea carpet can be traced back to the 4chan thread from 2020, which is dedicated to the bloop, another mystery we may get into someday. While well known on the X-board of 4chan, this cryptid seems to be rather obscure in the grand scheme of the greater internet. The black carpet is purported to be part of a group of organisms up to 1,000 feet long, and having a color black as coal. This siphonophore is reported to be a kind of seafloor scavenger that, much like a raccoon or vulture above sea level, eats dead animals that wind up finding themselves upon the ocean floor. This isn't all of their food, however, as plankton also appears to be on the menu. The spine-tingly part about these guys is their feelers, reportedly able to paralyze anything they come in contact with. Imagine going for a swim at your local beach. You get bored of the shallows after a while and bring yourself deeper and deeper into the water. You look down only to see what you believe to be pitch-black water beneath you, causing a sense of unease to begin to build. That sense is justified just seconds later, when you feel a small brush against your foot, and just like that, you're sinking, unable to move, swim, or escape, inevitably ending up as a black carpet's next meal. It's the farthest thing from pleasant thought in my book. Let's move on before I psych myself out. Vice Captain Kaz, onwards!
Aye, Captain. The Call of the Deep.
This is less of a monster from the depths and more of a horror of the human mind, yet a horror nonetheless. Call of the Deep is a mental phenomenon derived from the phenomenon Call of the Void. The best way to describe these ideas are intrusive thoughts that go one step further. This mental phenomenon happens when an individual gets a strong compulsion to deep dive into the ocean depths. This doesn't sound so bad at first compared to the black carpet, but unlike the carpet, it has led to several divers swim deeper and deeper down without resurfacing ever again. While many theories have been posited on the purpose or the cause of this urge, there's one that makes more sense than the rest. Nitrogen narcosis. Nitrogen narcosis occurs when nitrogen begins to build in compressed oxygen, which is then inhaled while in deep water. This condition causes a similar effect to intoxication with alcohol, impairing the victim's decision-making, causing you to begin to act on impulse rather than on reason. This does not explain the occurrences of those on land wanting to venture deep into the ocean, so it cannot be confirmed fully as the root cause. We may never truly know what forces grip our minds near the ocean waters, and that fact is truly terrifying. Now, Vice Captain Kaz, I believe it is time we show our guests the final stop of the tour, since this will be our last tour for tonight.
Affirmative. Descending deeper. Engine.
Here we are, my beloved audience. For the last stop of the night, I believe it would be a great idea to take a look at another cryptid. This is the Ningen, translating to human in Japanese. It fits it quite well, as the Ningen is a humanoid figure that is white in color, appearing at an estimated length between 60 to 100 feet, and located in the frigid oceans of Antarctica. Its first sighting was in 2007, when a member of the message board 2chan described a whale research ship's encounter with the beast. However, due to concrete proof of the creature, such as a cadaver, not existing, it appears that the validity of the Ningen remains rather murky. Kaz and I appreciate you all coming on my tour tonight. We've had a few laughs, you and I, but I think it's time to depart. Should you return, we'll be waiting for you, ready to explore more of what lies beneath the waves. Until then, exit to your left and mind the gap.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Something I'd like to say. I still think the black carpet would definitely beat the Ningen. Connor's never going to convince me otherwise. So, see y'all with Evan.
Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be doing a recap of a CS tournament that happened over the past week. PGL Bucharest 2025. I'm going to be mainly focusing on the playoffs that happened the past weekend, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I will also be making some mentions of the group stage, and I'll also be talking about my favorite team, Falcons. So I will probably be talking more about the Falcons games, because those are the ones I paid a lot more attention to. That being said, I'll also be talking about Dexter. More on that in a bit. Anyways, starting off, here's the playoff bracket. We're going to move straight on to quarterfinals round 1. So, quarterfinals round 1, it was Gamer Legion versus Falcons. This match happened at 2 a.m. our time. I woke up for it, watched the entire thing, sort of. So, first map was Train. Falcons pick. Everybody expected Falcons to win this. Gamer Legion is not a top 10 team, unfortunately. They did, however, beat Falcons in the group stage, so it was kind of a 50-50 split, but Falcons losing their map pick here, 7-13, definitely was a blow. They were not coordinated, they were missing smokes, they just weren't there during the first map. That being said, second map, Gamer Legion's pick Inferno. Gamer Legion's picked Inferno because they blew out Falcons 13-3 in the group stage. This was a upset, major upset for Gamer Legion. Falcons took it 13-7. They read every play. They definitely put in the work to find this map. That being said, it comes down to a decider, since it is best of 3, and it was Ancient. This is going to be a popular map pick you're going to see with the Falcons. Ancient is, in my opinion, Falcons' best map right now. It is their most consistent map. We'll talk more about it later. Falcons win at 13-7, winning the series 2-1, advancing them to the semifinals, knocking out Gamer Legion. Next up, we have quarterfinals round number 2. It is going to be 3D Max versus FaZe. 3D Max played really good this entire tournament. FaZe has been very lackluster. They've been hit or miss, basically. Honestly, coin flip, which is not okay. FaZe is a S tier team. They cannot be losing to teams outside of the top 10 in BRS standings. That being said, 3D Max did beat FaZe in the group stage. It was definitely favored for 3D Max to take the series. FaZe locking in, getting a 2-0 is huge. For those that do not know, little fun fact, a couple weeks ago, FaZe 2-0'd. FaZe got 13-0'd on Dust 2 for the first time in, I believe it was 8 or 9 years. Huge upset. FaZe just have not been themselves. That being said, first map, FaZe got their revenge. 13-0 against 3D Max on Anubis. No one saw this coming. Absolutely no one. FaZe have been such a coin flip recently. And then this was 3D Max's pick too. So just absolutely everything went wrong for 3D Max. Second map, Nuke. It was FaZe's pick. They win 13-5. Kind of expected. 3D Max just really could not show up on their CT side, which is not at all what you want on Nuke. Nuke is very CT sided. If you do not get 7 or more rounds, it is almost over. That being said, FaZe take the series 2-0. They advance to semifinals, sending 3D Max home. Quarterfinals, round 3, we have Complexity versus Aurora. Complexity, not the best team. They had a miracle run in the group stages. They were beating teams that on paper were so much better. However, it just wasn't expected. Going into this, Complexity versus Aurora, everyone assumed Aurora was going to win. For those that do not know, little fun fact, Aurora is Eternal Fire. Eternal Fire's roster was bought out by a brand name, Aurora, essentially Eternal Fire in a New Jersey, known as Aurora. Moving on. First map, Anubis. It was 13-9 Aurora. It was Aurora's pick, kind of expected. On your map pick, you do want to win. It wasn't too far off. Good fight from Complexity, but it was what people expected. Moving on, map number 2, we have Train. This was Complexity's pick. Took it 6-6 first half, which is not good on Train. Train, fun fact, is the most CT-sided map in CS2. What does this mean? It means you need 9 or more rounds on CT side, which, wow, Aurora could not do. It is Complexity's pick, though. They ended up winning 13-9. Next, they had Nuke the Decider. Close matchup. Both teams played well. Complexity did end up taking it 13-9. And yeah, Complexity took the series 2-1, sending Aurora home. Next up, we have G2 versus Virtus Pro. This is semifinals. No, this is quarterfinals, round 4. This was expected. G2 has been playing flawlessly. They went 3-0 in the group stage. Without a doubt, they were definitely the favorite to win. However, Virtus Pro made a very controversial decision in this matchup. Their map pick, first map pick, Dust 2. If you do not know, G2, Dust 2 is G2's map. No one knows why they did this. They picked, I have no words, honestly. They just should not have picked Dust 2. That being said, Virtus Pro getting 11 blows me away, bro. What? Somehow they got 11, but unfortunately G2 did take the map 13-11, but hard fought from Virtus Pro. No clue why they picked the map. Next up, Mirage. This was G2's map pick, 1-13-9. Not much of a struggle there. G2 winning 9 rounds on the T side is huge. They did struggle a bit on the CT side, however, they did end up picking up the 4 rounds needed to take it home. That being said, 2-0, G2 ended up knocking out VP. Falcons versus FaZe, a matchup that I dread. I like Falcons, I like FaZe. I'm definitely more sided towards Falcons, however, I enjoy both teams. That being said, Falcons win 2-1. This was by far my favorite series of the entire tournament. Starting off on Nuke. FaZe, favored team to win. They lose their map pick 13-4. I don't know where FaZe is this tournament. No one does. They're so hit or miss. Ancient, Falcons map pick. They start the half 8-4 on T side, and then they drop the ball and lose like 7 rounds in a row. FaZe take it to overtime. They beat Falcons 16-14. Nail biter of the series. Great from both teams. Mirage. Bro, this map was cinema. Falcons took it 8-4. Everyone thought it was over. Nah. FaZe win 5 rounds in a row, bringing it 8-9 in the lead for FaZe. Sorry to take a quick breather. FaZe win 5 rounds in a row, making the score 8-9. Honestly, I thought it was over. Suddenly, Falcons decided they knew how to play again. They win 13-10, dropping one singular round in that little run they had. Falcons beat FaZe 2-1. Moving on, we have Complexity versus G2. Like I said, Complexity is definitely not an S tier team. Well, they're an S tier team, but they are not a good S tier team. They are not in the top 10. G2 should take this on paper every day, and they did. Anubis, they win 13-8. Complexity's map pick Dust 2, they win 13-9. Not much to say about this matchup. It just kind of went exactly how you'd expect it to. Third place decider. No one really knows why these are played. Like, bro, both these teams already lost. Let them go home. But nah, they have to play. It's like the match of the losers. That being said, FaZe versus Complexity. On paper, FaZe takes this every time. They sorta did. I don't know how to explain this, but bro, they were not FaZe. It should not have been this close. 13-10 on their map pick, 13-11 on Complexity's map pick. Way too close. FaZe shouldn't be letting up that many rounds against a team like Complexity. I will say Complexity was playing really good this entire tournament. Well deserved on their part. GG to both teams. Grand Finals. This was the most highly anticipated Grand Finals. If you did not know, G2, this is the last tournament. Or no, Falcons and G2, this is the last tournament for both of their rosters together. Dexter is getting traded for Monacy. Monacy plays for G2, Dexter plays for Falcons. Everyone was waiting for this matchup. It's basically Monacy playing against his team, his future team. In fact, next week, Monacy will be playing on the Falcons. That being said, I can't complain. I like the Falcons. They won 3-0. I was really hoping the series would be more competitive. It wasn't too entertaining. Falcons just kept beating them. I really don't have any words for it, man. I'll be honest. Little map breakdown. G2's map pick fell apart, man. 13-5 Falcons. I'm not complaining, but G2, they just kind of fell apart. Nuke, Falcons map pick 13-7. Once again, took it away. No struggle. Ending it, Ancient as the decider. Ancient, as we know, is from Falcons' go-to map. They play really good. They did fall apart on that FaZe match, but it is fine. They were able to put it together. Anyways, they win 13-8. Falcons win the tournament 3-0. I hope you guys enjoyed the recap. This will be the last episode of Investigation Truth. And this will be me, Evan Fuller, signing off. Peace out.
Anyways, ever thought about what would happen if you were immortal? I've often thought about how much it would suck if you couldn't have access to clean water. Anyways, we're going to be going on to a little bit of a break with a clean water PSA, and then Dean will be telling you about just what would happen if you were all immortal.
Dirty water is killing around 800 children each day, and with your support, you can help provide clean water to children all over the world. Every donation helps a kid out and have clean water for life. Let's go farther together. Help us by donating to our cause.
Have you ever wondered if we never ran out of time? No ticking clock counting down the seconds. No final goodbye. What if you can live forever? Imagine waking up every day knowing that time no longer has power over you. No wrinkles forming, no birthdays taking you closer to an end. Just existence. But would that be a dream or a nightmare? It's said that maintaining a healthy lifestyle is the closest thing we can get to slow down aging. That means regular physical activity, eating healthy, nutritious foods, and managing stress levels. Sleep is also important so that your body has time to rest. Of course, even with all of this, we can't escape time itself, but we can thread the needle a little longer. Gene editing techniques like CRISPR, short for clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats, is a gene editing tool that allows scientists to precisely edit DNA sequences in ways that could treat diseases or potentially reverse aging. This could help us treat diseases and maybe even reverse aging, but it's important to remember that this is still early science. We're just scratching the surface of what might be possible in the future. Now, it's time to look at a different world, one without death. You would have more time to achieve your dreams. You wouldn't have to be stressed to learn to become a doctor or a lawyer, maybe even an astronaut in this world. Time wouldn't matter much anymore. You could spend decades learning new skills, mastering instruments, studying languages, or traveling the world without fear of running out of time. Relationships might change too. Imagine watching your friends and family evolve over centuries. Would love stay the same? Or would connections fade once the pressure of the time is gone? People also would be afraid of death anymore. If this is the case, would it be a good or bad thing? Without the fear of consequences, would people act recklessly? Since life has no end, would some people take it for granted? Would you worry about not dying? What would stop someone from doing something dangerous, even harmful, if they knew they would never die? Would the world be safer since authority figures like police officers won't have to worry about dire situations? There could be a possibility that crime could go down, although I don't see that happening in this world too. There's even a bigger question: overpopulation. Since nobody dies, but people keep getting born, the Earth could run out of space for humans and resources. What would we do then? We could try growing trees for more wood. This is most likely the only resource we would have left. If we ever run out of space, where would we go then? We could travel to Mars since we can technically breathe in space. Maybe we could set up a place as another planet we can live on, and hope for the best. Living forever might sound like a gift, but it could be a curse too. Maybe that's what makes life so special, because it doesn't last forever. One moment to chase a dream, one lifetime to leave your mark on this planet. So, I have to ask again, would you want to live forever?
Hey everyone, it's been a rodeo. Hope you all have fun out there. This was the last episode of Investigation Truths for the year, so us and the crew will be seeing y'all later. Sayonara, everyone. Chris, signing out.